Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So recently I made kind of like a speculation video about Squirrel Girl and accenting her unique ability to increase and decrease her combo meter, and also some place where that could already be potentially useful and is definitely something to keep an eye out for in future. So I was lucky enough to get contacted by a few people. I'm gonna give them shout outs towards the end of the video, but basically showcasing Squirrel Girl in Act 6 with this tactical maneuvering boost. And what it does is it instead, if you were to apply bleed but opponent is immune, instead of this bleed debuff, it lets you inflict a burst of damage on opponent, and the amount of the damage depends on your combo count, and the higher the combo, the more damage and the more chance it would trigger. And so we can see how quickly Squirrel Girl here ramps up that damage. So initial damage here is like 1600 or something, so it's nothing impressive, right? But as soon as she gets to her level 3, obviously she gains 100 combo meter, and she also gains additional combo count from her light attacks, I believe. So base idea is she gains a lot of combo really quickly, and here we will be able to see how quickly she amps up her damage with that boost in play, and how easily it make certain tricky fights in 6.3 to just fly by basically, because this is unduped 6-star rank 1 Squirrel Girl. So that would definitely be a really hard time for vast majority of the champions there. But Squirrel Girl now with this boost is absolutely tearing through opponents, and we can see that now already we are dealing 10k plus 14k damage every time she would inflict bleed. And yeah, that would already kind of like be much more impressive as well if the Squirrel Girl were to be duped and started with 40 hits on her combo meter. But nonetheless, I think it kind of like proves a point that there will be quite a lot of options to use this unique aspect of Squirrel Girl in future when it comes to dealing with different combo based nodes. Here that boost was initially meant as an optional way how to bypass safeguard against these immune champions, and it works. Well, it works extremely well for Squirrel Girl. You can put a comparison and take in any kind of skilled champion that does bleed, and the boost is helpful, but it triggers a lot less often to begin with, because when you have low combo you have smaller chance to trigger it even if you were to inflict bleed. Additionally, Squirrel Girl does spam bleeds quite frequently compared to most of the skill champions, and obviously the damage from this boost is increased massively with the inflated combo meter. Therefore, yeah, she's pretty much prime and perfect champion for this boost, and it's kind of like it was made for her, or she was made for it. But it's a match made in heaven, what can you say? The Squirrel does put out a lot of damage extremely quickly, bypassing safeguard and absolutely shredding this path in particular, and pretty much any matchup where opponent is bleed immune. And again, this is the final quest in 6.3, so the opponents are as stacked as they come. I believe they are like 350k health pool opponents, and yeah, Squirrel Girl just doesn't particularly care about it at all whatsoever here. Combined with that boost, those fights seem to be hardly any longer than an average uncollected fight would be with a rank 1 6-star, I believe. And obviously you're having a lot of fun in the process, because Squirrel Girl is fun to play and her animations are cool, and it just gives you a sense of bypassing the difficult content relatively easily. Now, there are also a couple more nodes I did not mention in my previous video, such as Prove Yourself. Duped Squirrel Girl completely ignores that node, and even if you do happen to mess up, you get past that 15 hit combo mark relatively easily with Squirrel Girl, because you have to do like half amount of hits or just drop a level 1 or whatever. There's also Combo Party, which gives you a cruelty buff for every 10 hits on your combo meter, and that works extremely well with Squirrel Girl because you gain incredible amount of these cruelty buffs. And obviously you can also kind of like spend those combos with Squirrel Girl, and you can do so freely because you do not lose your cruelty charges. so you can only increase your attack exponentially. And it's quite an easy and cool time overall when you are facing these combo-based nodes. So whilst from the first glance she definitely seemed like a fun champion that's interesting and easy to play, does a lot of damage, does a lot of bleed damage, but doesn't really have all that much utility. At the same time, these kind of subtle things that may go unnoticed initially, but eventually the more nodes we get that are based on your combo meters, and the more kind of like flexibility Squirrel Girl will offer, I do believe that she's one of those champions that sooner or later will pop up as in fight recommendations when it comes to dealing with certain aspects, certain lanes in more difficult endgame content. So she is a champion I'm personally kind of interested in acquiring, and I probably wouldn't mind ranking her up, because even if she doesn't get used daily for her ability to do difficult content, she's still a fun champion to play in your casual questing, and she kind of like makes it easy and fun and interesting. And then I also do believe that there will be times when she becomes extremely important when it comes to overcoming difficult obstacles, as just like we can see in these clips against 6.3, the lanes and the nodes that were extremely kind of tricky and hard to get by, she's pretty much the best option for many of the fights over there when you're using this tactical maneuvering boost. And it might not seem as relevant, but it's much more than many other champions have to offer when it comes to dealing with 6.3, for instance. There aren't too many champions in game that can state a claim that they are the best for a particular lane or a particular situation, but I do wholeheartedly believe that Squirrel Girl is the best champion for this boost in particular and these lanes in particular. So therefore, in conclusion, she might not be an absolute must-have like, for instance, Namor is or Ghost is, but she is definitely a fairly successfully designed champion that's intriguing, that has a bit more depth to her than people initially would think, and overall definitely the better champion released this month, and so far the best champion this year. Obviously, her only current competition is the Lemonhead Nova, and it's not too hard to be better than that. But still, it's something, it still counts. And yeah, so here's another fight against Unstoppable Colossus. I believe this is the last fight with the same boost Act 2. And here we can see again that she starts out with a small amount of these damages. There was like 2,400 damage, but it will before soon be like 10k plus every time she would trigger a bleed, or 20k if the opponent survives that long, but typically they do not. But yeah, that will pretty much do more or less for today's video. I just wanted to say that it definitely kind of felt nice to be contacted by multiple people saying like, hey, I heard you talk about Squirrel Girl, I got lucky in Cavaliers, and what kind of footage would you like to request and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't actually think anybody is gonna message me, but hey, it was nice, and I definitely do appreciate that kind of help, and I do believe it helped me to showcase the point that I made earlier quite well when it comes looking at Squirrel Girl and her potential uses, because again, there is not just this one situation. There are nodes like Prove Yourself, there are nodes like Combo Party, there are nodes like Counter Tactics, and more Lazarus, and more of them are getting added because yeah, the more nodes overall in game, the more of them are kind of also have a chance to involve your combo meter. And as soon as you notice anything mentioning combo meter, you can pretty much immediately take a look at Squirrel Girl and see whether she can gain some sort of benefit because of that unique aspect of her being able to ramp up her combo meter faster than anyone else, and at the same time her being the only champion in the game who can reduce her combo meter outside of getting hit in the face. And exactly that kind of unique small nuances is what I enjoy about the game, because there are so many intricate interactions in between many different things in the game, and the more kind of like tools, weapons we have at our disposal, the more interesting content Kabam can make, and the more interesting ways we can find to clear the content. But either way, so when it comes to shoutouts, I do have like screenshots for 3 people. So it was Pad who messaged me as well, saying that he has Squirrel Go, and he has the boost for 6.3. Then we have Wactem as well, a very pleasant gentleman who also offered his help and several video clip footages. And lastly, we have Dark, who was also extremely forthcoming, contacted me, reached out, and recorded some footage for me. And for that, I thank you, gentlemen. And with that, I will take my leave. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons. And as always, I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.